Hi, welcome to another walk through the Carpenter shop where together we're talking about ways and thinking about some things that grow us closer to Him and maybe a little bit deeper in becoming the person that He wants us to be. Growing up a little bit, if you will, in the Carpenter shop. A Bible verse, 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 13 says, "Submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake." It's kind of an odd verse if you think about it. I'm reminded of the story of a man by the name of Georgy Venn, who was a pastor in Russia prior to the fall of the Soviet Union or the Soviet communism at the time. He was severely persecuted for his faith, but no matter how severe the repercussions were or the mistreatment was, he and his fellow Christians were determined to obey every single law on the Russian books as long as that law did not go against their Christian beliefs and faith. So in other words, they made a commitment that they were going to walk that line and they were going to be good caretakers of the law and do what the law said, even if they didn't agree with it, as long as it did not force them to do something that fell outside the parameters of their faith. Now, the end result was that God blessed them for trying to strike that line of obedience, and they would often use that verse that I just read to you. But the other thing that it did is it caught the attention of other Russian Christians, and this pastor became a hero in their eyes simply because he was trying to flesh his faith out in a world that was incredibly difficult. You know, Jesus did the same thing back in a world where Romans had the Jews under oppression, and he often would give that instruction that would say, you walk that line and you do what you need to do to represent yourself within the culture, but at the same time, don't go against the things of God in the culture. It strikes me that sometimes it's hard to do that in the world that we live in. There's something about us that wants to push back when it's not right, and sometimes we just get so angry and upset. But what we need to learn to do, and if we could do this as followers, we'd be so much better off, is learn how to take our faith and make sure that we fit it into the world in such a way that will inspire and encourage and give hope to others. Do those things that we can to toe that line and be good citizens, because that will honor God. But at the same time, never do anything that would go against your belief system or do something to dishonor God. It's not always easy to do, but it's important to do because it is the biblical map, the road map that God gives us for being who we are, no matter where we find ourselves. In a free culture, in a communist culture, in an oppressed culture, whether free or slave, you are a follower of Christ in those environments. And then you have to figure out how best to do that in a way that honors Him. Very difficult, sometimes confusing. Sometimes you're going to mess it up. But if you try to get it right, you're going to discover that God will bless it more than you realize. You think about that, and we'll walk it together again next time in the Carpenter shop.